Hello and welcome back to my very messy kitchen. In today's video, we are going to be making squash casserole. Now, this week is Thanksgiving. It is casserole season. Like, it is time for casseroles. You're going to family parties and stuff, you're gonna make a casserole because it's easy. So this squash casserole is easy to make. It's delicious. Squash is still pretty inexpensive, although it is out of season now, but it is relatively cheap. And the other ingredients are things that you probably always keep on hand anyways, like cheese, crackers, and a soup concentrate. Before we get into the video, be sure to subscribe to our channel so that you'll be notified when we upload. It's super important to us. It helps us out a whole lot if you subscribe. We'll love you forever. And it allows us to keep making videos like this. So if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, all of that stuff, and let's get started.
Okay, so I have my 2 pounds of squash. For me, it was about 6 squash. These were kind of medium size. They weren't oversized or anything like that. So I'm going to take half and I'm going to slice it, and then I'm going to take the other half and I'm going to grate those. And you just want your slices to be pretty even. I did a terrible job of this time around. I don't know. I was just kind of going willy-nilly, but the casserole turned out fine, so it's not the end of the world if you have uneven slices. But you should really try to get even slices. It's going to work out best if you can get even slices. Also, when you cut little discs of squash or zucchini or whatever, they tend to roll away. So, just watch your little discs. So once I got those cut up, I was just putting them in a bowl so that it's set out of the way and so that I could grate directly into the bowl. These are also really hard to pick up. I should have gotten out my bench scraper to pick those up, but then that would have been another tool that I had to wash, so hands work just fine. Okay, so now I am grating my squash. I'm just using a cheese grater. You just want to be really careful that you don't actually accidentally grate your knuckles or a fingernail or something in there. I've got pretty close a couple times, and I have done that before and it really hurts, so just be careful. But this recipe is super easy. I mean, it's so simple, and the ingredients are stuff that most people keep in their pantry all the time. I mean, we always have a condensed soup hanging out here, and you could probably use mushroom if you wanted to, or it doesn't necessarily have to be cream of chicken. If you've got a cream of something, it would probably work just fine. The only thing that we had to give is the squash because it's out of season, and so, we usually have squash in the summer. So now in a separate bowl, I am going to crack 2 eggs, and then I'm going to add my salt and my pepper, and you want to do a pretty big pinch. And if you don't want to use as much salt, you absolutely do not have to, but to me, I really love salt. And then we added some dried thyme, and now I'm just going to give that a really quick mix, just so that the eggs are beaten before I add everything else. I just felt like it was going to make things easier. So now I'm adding my can of condensed cream of chicken. And I'm adding about half a cup of sour cream. The 8-ounce tub is a little bit more than half a cup, just FYI. And then I'm adding 2 cups of cheese. And, it's cheese. You can measure with your heart. A 1/4 cup of Parmesan. That was way more than a 1/4 cup. That was like a full cup of Parmesan. It still tasted good. You can't add too much cheese. Honestly, you should add more. Ooh, you know what? I bet pepper jack cheese would be good in this. Add just a little spice. I bet that would be really good. Or a smoked cheese would be good. Really, you could add just about any kind of cheese you wanted. except for maybe like a brie. You know, we wouldn't want to do that. Okay, so now I'm going to set that aside. Now in my pan, I'm going to saute an onion, and I just used the pre-cut up kind from the grocery store. You could use a frozen diced onion if you wanted to. Probably just about a cup of onion is about what you need. And then you're going to add some garlic, and as always, you should measure the garlic with your heart. You can't add too much, and if you don't like garlic, you don't have to add it. So that part's up to you. And then you're going to add your squash, and this is just to kind of cook the squash a little bit. Squash has a lot of water in it, and so sauteing it like this is going to release the extra moisture. And I added a little pinch of salt in there as well to help get rid of the extra water. It'll just make things go a little bit faster. And it was too much for my pan, but it does shrink as it cooks. So if you're in this scenario where you put it in your pan and it's a little too much for your pan, don't worry. Just mix it up as good as you can and then let it cook. Let it do its thing. It'll evaporate. It'll shrink down. And you can kind of see the water bubbling in the pan there. And that's what you want. You want to get rid of as much water as you can. So once that's done, then you're going to crush up some butter crackers. I'm just using some Ritz crackers, and you want about a cup, but again, you can measure this with your heart. I put 2 full sleeves on top. That was probably way more than a cup, but the topping is usually my favorite part of a casserole, so I wanted to have more topping. And I just crush those up really lightly in the sleeve. No point in like putting it in a Ziploc bag. It doesn't need to be crushed up super small or anything. So then I have my baking dish, and I'm adding my squash. You want your squash to cool off just a little bit. So I put it in the baking dish to get it out of the hot pan so that hopefully it would cool off a touch, because your soup mix has eggs in it and you don't want to like cook the eggs and then you got scrambled eggs in your casserole. So you want to let it cool off just a touch. And then you want to add your soup, cheese, egg mixture. And I just added it right into the casserole dish. I could have put it in the bowl, but you know, this part doesn't matter. And then you're just going to mix it up a little bit. Actually, I don't even know if you have to mix it up. Like if you just left it, kind of smeared it around on top, it would probably like sink into the cracks. It'd probably work out just fine, but I mixed it. There's kind of no wrong way to do a casserole like this, really. And then you just smooth it out so that it's nice and flat, and then you add your crushed crackers on top. And you can absolutely measure this part with your heart. If you know what else I was thinking when I was making this? I was thinking that those French fried onions that you put on top of green bean casserole, I was thinking that would be really good on the top. Yeah, I was thinking like the Ritz crackers and some French fried onions on top, delicious. Nothing better than a fried onion.
We've gotten this all made. I'm gonna put this in the oven at 350. It's gonna bake for 25 to 30 minutes. Pretty much the squash is cooked. We're just melting the cheese, kind of getting it all nice and warm and bubbly, and the top is gonna crisp up just a little bit in the oven. This is a super easy casserole to make, and it's perfect for Thanksgiving. So I will be back when this is done cooking.
And here it is out of the oven. It was beautiful. It smelled amazing. It was delicious. Be sure to subscribe to our channel so that you can be notified when we upload, and thanks for watching.